Hey everyone, so today's video we're going to be talking about the new sets that were released not too long ago and ask the question, are they making a difference, right? That's what we want to know. Is it worth our time to actually be farming these pieces up? A cop-out answer would definitely be there's not enough time to see if they truly have made a difference. But I think we've already seen in small doses that a couple of them prove to be quite impactful. And the three that I think that are the most impactful are definitely Immunity Set, Resonance Set, surprisingly to me, and then also the Elemental Set. Now, let's talk about these sets a little bit. Maybe talk about which heroes utilize them the best and things like that, okay? So with the introduction of these new sets, we got new levels of the dungeons. They have not been tuned yet, like tuned down, which I think they definitely need to be. They are still way too strong. Witch of the Wind has now become somewhat doable with Guan Yu. He still needs full books, and he does need some ascensions. I don't think he needs to be Ascended 5 to beat Witch, but if you have him Ascended 5, he is obviously a much easier person to build to do enough damage because he gets that free extra attack at the end of the round for 300%. But other than that, Ash Magisteria is still locked behind Vengeful Hassle. Gemini Dragon is still locked behind the Twins and Oderic. You also have some achievable comps for Tulpa and for Queen of Tides, although Queen of Tides is a very long farm, so I'm not quite sure people are even doing that or care. But yeah, it's still a little bit overtuned in my opinion. Okay, so these sets, what have they accomplished, right? The first thing is the Immunity Set, I think, has by far been the best set, hands down. It changes up the meta in PvP. It doesn't really have any kind of impact on the PvE side. I don't know if they're going to introduce some kind of boss that puts up negative effects or something, and maybe you'll need Immunity Set on your team to try and kill him in the first round or something like that. Who knows? But for now, it is strictly a PvP set, and it has made a world of difference, in my opinion. The big thing going for the Immunity Set is the fact that it's two-piece. You can slap it on to other four-piece sets that have been in the meta for a long time. You have your Assassin sets, you have your Avarice sets, you have your Dragon Scale sets, and, slipping on an Immunity Set is a lot easier to do than to try to build a whole new character with something like a Resonance Set, or even a Wrath, or what's the other support set? I already forget what it is because it's kind of unmemorable for me. Salvation set. So Immunity has by far been the best kind of set. I've already seen some high-level players putting Immunity on, Light Nick, Dark Nick, things like that, where you completely negate like a Garnet or something like that, or even an Aurea to lay out some taunts. It's pretty devastating. On top of that, you can have, some heroes in there that would normally be targets for, an Adeline ultimate, where she's able to put that really toxic debuff up where your heroes don't do any damage, and anytime they heal themselves, they deal themselves damage. It's just a toxic debuff, but the Immunity Set allows you to get around that. Like, slapping an Immunity Set on somebody like a Nero is fantastic because you can't put that debuff up on him. He can't be stunned. He doesn't have any defense down or attack down, and then he can end up nuking. If he gets, his abilities put on cooldown or something like that, he can just S1 and put immunity up again from his own basic. So there's been a lot of really cool interactions with immunity when it comes down to it. It has also inadvertently hurt, Desdemona, Aurea, anybody like Royce who tries to do, like a silence or anything like that. So pretty neat. Now, the other one that has had a lot of impact, in my opinion, is Resonance Set. The Resonance Set has been really cool. I mean, it also pairs very well with Guan Yu. And I think Guan Yu is a great person to wear this set. One of the harder things to do with a 4-piece set is incorporate all of the stats needed on your team when it comes to speed. Speed is extremely hard to hit a lot of times. So if you have somebody that can kind of get around the speed barrier within its trait, or it has a higher base speed where you can get, a lot of your speed out of the substats, or just having one kind of like boost with speed as your base stat, those are the things that you can use to get around Resonance, right? Where it doesn't have any real impact on your speed, but you don't want to waste particular substats in the speed if you don't need to. There's going to be cases where this is important. People like Shane, who I think wears Resonance Set very well. But people like Guan Yu, where all of his speed is based on the fastest light and dark character on your opponent's team. He doesn't care about that, so he can wear a 4-piece Resonance Set extremely easy and actually tag himself in. This can count himself, so he's doing 2 additional attacks, and then he's proccing off of this set to do his special ability. He can attack up to 4 times, which is really cool. And what I mean by that is he can use his basic ability, trigger off of the Resonance Set, use his special ability, and then use his basic ability again because he hit a light and dark character. So it's kind of sweet. Another person who wears Resonance Set really well is somebody like Cordelia. Somebody like Kasim can even wear a Resonance Set pretty well. Karma can also wear a Resonance Set pretty well, because all of these heroes end up having abilities, in their own traits where they don't care what the speed of your opponent's characters are. So, Cordelia has 219 speed for me, but she has this ability whenever somebody gains a bonus a turn or a stat increase effect, she counterattacks and then moves to the top of the action queue. So it's actually a great set for somebody like Cordelia. Now, for somebody like Karma, if they have any kind of crowd control, she gets instant bonus turns. Now, I have Karma on a Resonance Set. The reason for this is Karma's counterattack does a lot of damage. But if your opponent is one of the, a good player, they will make sure that this does not proc. There's going to be times where it's unintentional, maybe like a stun 50% chance from like a Shark Solandre or something like that triggers this, or maybe a Doomweaver Valyria, and then she'll get a bonus turn. Now, the ultimate ability of Karma hits really, really hard, but her basic ability does not hit hard at all. So if you add in the additional chance to use her basic ability with the extra turns that she acquires, you may be able to bring in your highest attack dealing hero, and with her basic ability and the joint attack of the hero, might be able to knock out one of your enemy's characters, and then you can save your ultimate for somebody else. So I'm really excited about the Resonance Set on Karma. So that has definitely been one of the more impactful gears, for sure, out of these new dungeons. The other thing that's going for Resonance Set is the fact that it's extremely useful in the dungeons. There's been a couple of videos that I've seen, mainly with Machine, even on Roaring Tulpa, being able to have a resonance set on the rest of your supporting cast to bring in somebody like a Gavin, which has really risen in the ranks, right? Where on any of his attacks, he's going to be ignoring defense. So his basic ability just crushes, and it enhances his the amount of defense that he ends up ignoring because he puts up additional buffs on him, which plays into his trait. The only issue with this is it will add some kind of RNG aspect to your dungeon runs. You need to make sure that your dungeon run doesn't require this for it to be successful, but it's in there to possibly speed up the run. So Resonance definitely adds a lot to that. Now, the Elemental gear set from Roaring Tulpa, right? Granting the additional 20% elemental bonus damage. Once people have enough gear to actually make this a 6-piece set, I think it's going to make a world of difference. You know, these elemental sets are going to be really good on dungeon-specific heroes. Like slapping an elemental set on somebody like a Bella, right, which is just a hero for Tulpa, is going to just crush. Now, the beautiful thing about this set is it just enhances damage. It doesn't, it doesn't ignore anything with defense or anything like that. So when Bella is already ignoring defense effects and putting increased damage taken 2 up, it just further amplifies that damage. I can only imagine the type of numbers that are going to come out once people have legit elemental sets. On top of that, other heroes that are going to wear those sets really well are specialists, right? Just playing on top of Bella. So the other specialists that you have are Pluto. Pluto is going to do additional damage. And then Kaysen, who I think is just an absolute garbage hero. He's literally built only for Ash Magisteria, which is similar to Pluto. But he is also going to benefit extremely well from the elemental set. So that's what you should look forward to in regards to that. I think Bocce is going to be a menace in that for Rift of Chaos just 1 through 3. The elemental bonus actually might even help players achieve Rift of Chaos 3 without needing multiple ascensions of Poros, which I think is what is needed right now. They don't have this up. But basically on Rift of Chaos, this team right here can clear Rift of Chaos 3, but the Poros needs to be Ascension 5 to give your team additional damage. It might not be needed if you have a legit elemental set for your Bocce, because he's ignoring 100% defense and then doing an additional 60% elemental damage. I think it's going to be a huge, huge difference. So the elemental set definitely has applications in regards to Ash Magisteria and Queen of Tide and Roaring Tulpa. I think it's really going to help with speed runs and things of that nature. It doesn't have any effect on Witch of the Wind and Gemini. It might have some minor application in Guild versus Environment bosses. I'm sure every little bit helps there. But for the most part, it's going to be for the 3 main dungeons in Rift of Chaos. So it has his merits, for sure. The 2 that I have been very underwhelmed by are these 2 sets in Ash Magisteria and Queen of Tides. The reason for this is, while this Salvation set seems like it could be decent, the problem is it's a stack of max health up that can be removed. I think that takes so much away from it. There are plenty of bosses already that remove positive effects on people, allow for no positive effects to be put up, and stuff like that just really hurts sets like this. On top of it, it's a 4-piece set, which I think was needed because the effects are good, but at the same time, it's just the fact that you can get rid of it is pretty frustrating. You know, the resonance set, the immunity set you can get rid of, but it has been built for arena, and it's also for only one turn, and it doesn't stack. So that's a buff that's okay to be removed. It kind of already does its job after the first turn. But Salvation set and the Wrath set is supposed to be built for guild versus environment, for dungeon runs, to allow your team to survive these big hits from these bosses. And sadly, with the fact that they can be removed, I don't think they're all that great. Now, I'm not saying that they're worthless. There are some applications where it's probably good. I think there's some mini bosses in guild versus environment that don't remove anything. There's plenty of these dungeon bosses here that don't remove anything. Like, I'm pretty sure Ash Magisteria doesn't remove any buffs, and he does big counter attacks. So having a support hero be able to put up something from the Salvation set might be the key to unlocking stage 20, you know, without a light and dark hero. So it's not worthless, for sure. The other thing is I really want to pay attention to how, like, what the difference is here with Wrath versus, you know, Assassin set and so on and so forth. But when it comes to the Wrath set, this is only going to apply in applications similar to, you know, Guild Boss. It's going to be applied in certain Guild versus Environment bosses where the bosses can't remove positive effects, because it gets completely outclassed by the Elemental set when it's, you know, for Ash Magisteria, Queen of Tides, and then Tulpa. You can throw in this set along with, you know, an elemental set, which might be the key. It actually could be decent for Tulpa, who doesn't, at least in my... I haven't played the dungeons enough, but I don't think Tulpa removes buffs either. I think he just counterattacks when so many people have buffs. But if you're using Gavin or something like that, this might count as a stack of something, and it's just increasing his damage. So time will tell on these, but I do not like them as much as the other three because of the fact that you can remove their abilities, and that is a real bummer. So all that being said, I think the new sets have had an impact for sure. Mainly immunity set, just because it has a direct impact with shorter aspects of the game when it comes to PvP and things like that. Resonance set has been a really cool addition to the game. I'm actually psyched that they put it out. It makes a lot of characters more viable. The Elemental set, once people have legit sets, I think it's going to make a pretty big difference in the Rift of Chaos and then speed runs for these first three dungeons. And then time will tell on these Wrath and Salvage. Salvage, is that what it is? So that's Wrath and what's this one called? Salvation. Yeah. Time will tell on those, but they're going to be specific to, you know, certain bosses. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to have a little discussion video talking about the new sets, if it's been worth it to farm these stages. Stages are still overtuned. I really wish that they would fix them or something like that, but it's been tough to work around. I've mainly been farming stage 17 of Gemini Dragon and then stage 19 of Witch of the Wind with Guan Yu. So that's been nice, and then just really haven't bothered with Tulpa or Ash yet, unless it's some kind of rally where you're getting 2 times the drops. So that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your opinions below, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.